Hey there, this is Michael McConnohie, the voice of Gen 1 Autobots Trax and Cosmos, Cross Country from G.I. Joe, not to mention Vampire Hunter D and Left Hand, Michael Zabok from the Big O, the Lich King and Kel'Thuzad from World of Warcraft, and a whole lot more. Hey, you live long enough, you get to have a lot of fun. Oh look, a blue Corvette just pulled up. All right, people, you're watching In Conversation with Amber the Fangirl, ATF. Pay attention.
Hi guys, Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. My guest today is a voice actor. He's best known for voicing Cosmos and Trax on the original G1 Transformers, Cross Country in G.I. Joe, the narrator of The Return of Dogtanian, that was just broadcast in the UK, so that's how we all got to, we all got to know that. Yeah. Ektar and Lexor in Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light. And he has also done so many animes like Cowboy Bebop, Bo. I can never say that properly. I'm so sorry.
Bo.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah.
When we were doing it, I'm sorry to interrupt. When we were doing, we had the producer who was a nice Korean guy who was giving us the proper way and the attitude, and it's a bo. I'm like, bo. No. Bo. So just.
What why it was called that? What made them call it that? I don't know.
I've no idea.
My guest has also done anime like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Naruto. What else is there? Vampire Hunter. It's just a few to pick off. Robotech. Lots of things, and also he was a voice director for a few things as well, Transformers Robots in Disguise, the 2001 version, and is also a script writer.
One of the rotating directors on RID.
RID, yeah, and he's also a script writer and a casting director. Who is my guest? It's Michael McConnohie.
Hey there. Who has no problem interrupting the flow of the show.
Don't worry, I tend to do that. Don't worry. So I always end up apologizing or something like that. Am I using the right microphone for this? Because I sound okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Because I recorded an interview in the past and it accidentally connected to my monitor microphone, which is like, it sounds like I'm underwater, so it's terrible. So I've had to end up rescheduling that interview saying, I'm so sorry, the sound came out bad, can we reschedule? So Michael, I'd really like to start off by asking, how are you today?
Actually, today I'm doing rather well. Thank you for asking. It's been we're currently getting some rain where I live, and it's a good thing because it was getting a little dry. Basically, at this point, the beauty part of the pageant is over, and there's a lot of dead leaves on the trees.
Yeah.
And they're not pretty anymore. So I just turn on the shower, run the bath, make the leaves fall off, and then we have a little more clear bit of scenery to look at. But we have rain, and we need rain. Rain is good. Rain is our friend. And that's fine. And I just heard from my brother, who's out on the West Coast, and he's doing well, and I'm very happy about that, because as you sort of saunter down the other side of the maturity hill, things happen. And the fact that we are able to stay in touch makes a huge difference to me. And knowing that he's still there and still my big brother, that makes me happy. So it's a good day.
Oh, that's so sweet. My day has been eventful. I started off by going up to Southport to pick up something. Now, I'm not sure by the time this comes out, the secret will have been revealed, but if it is, hey, well done. Basically, I picked up something that is a surprise to my viewers at this moment in time, because I just got it today, 11th of November. So I'm not going to say what it is, just in case it comes out before I've actually revealed what the surprise is. But yeah, I went to pick that up. I came back. Well, oh my gosh, it was an eventful ride there because it felt like we were taking a big tour of Liverpool because of the sat of time was to go the wrong way and stuff, and then we ended up getting there, and then drove back, and there's me snacking on sweets because I didn't bring any food. I got home, my legs were aching for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't do a lot of walking, and obviously got in. Went on my Xbox, and then I found out that Kevin Conroy had passed away, and yeah, not going to delve too much into it because I know I'm going to end up with being in floods of tears. But yeah, I am very sad. I am very saddened. And of course, Michael, I don't think you did work with Kevin. I know he didn't do
No,
anything Transformers. You didn't do anything Batman related.
no, I did not. I wasn't able to get into the DC universe. I was too busy in the Blizzard universe and some of the Mortal Kombat stuff, as I said.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Mm.
but no, well, Mortal Kombat, that was actually happening on the same lot as Batman, so I was close.
Yeah.
It's over
That's
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I met Kevin at Telford Comic Con early this year, and I'm just very
Mhm.
grateful that I got that chance to meet him because, yeah, I mean, that was that meetup that started my obsession with Batman the animated series.
Well, it's good to have
I'm
obsessions.
yeah, oh my gosh, it makes you feel so great, and when there's one day at college you can't do, and yesterday was a really hard day, and I just kept thinking of Batman the animated series to get me through it, and yeah, Kevin passed away yesterday, so that was,
Well,
it
I am
hurts.
deeply regretful, and not least because I did not get the chance to meet him. Because, by all accounts, he was just a beautifully nice guy.
Hmm. Oh, bless.
So,
I'm obviously not gonna make this whole yeah, I'm not gonna make this whole interview, just like crying and stuff. So let's quickly move on if that's okay with you.
absolutely,
No
yeah.
disrespect, of course, Kevin. We love you. Fly high. Um, I need to get back on track. I've just completely forgotten what I was going to say. um, uh, I know. To cheer ourselves up, I'd like to tell you a little story. Is that
Oh,
okay, Michael?
excellent! I'm ready to listen.
Yay! I love stories. So last month I went to Edinburgh and I met
Oh,
two wonderful people. You may or may not have worked on Transformers, but well, there's one of them.
oh, there you go.
Frank,
There you
welcome.
go.
And
Yep.
I think this is the one. This is what he did. Who said
And
that?
and 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 oh, now that's a nice sandwich.
And
Oh, that's beautiful.
Peter.
Well done. Good for
Thank
you.
you. They were just, oh my gosh. I walked into that photo op booth and then they both pointed at me. I was like, hi guys, because they'd already
Yeah,
seen me like 100 times that day. And then
right.
they started, it was like, she's mine, Megatron. No, Optimus, she's mine. I'm like, oh my God. I was just in the middle of it all, just being embraced by my heroes. And I've got to ask, what were those recording sessions like for Transformers? Because of course you have a
Oh,
star-studded cast. I mean, I presume you all work together because Wally Burr voice directed, and
yeah,
it was you, Frank, Peter, Casey Kasem, Don Messick.
yeah,
Many people. Michael
yeah.
Bell, Neil
Al Rail,
Ross,
Michael Bill, yep,
Hal
you are right.
Rail,
Scabman Crothers. I mean, it
Cameron
was
Crowe, Chris Latter as well.
yes.
Oh my
No,
gosh!
it was at once mm, elevating and daunting because I was a very young actor at that time.
Mhm.
I've only lately learned to speak. Um, these people were my idols, my gods. I was watching their cartoons, and then suddenly there I was rubbing shoulders with them and standing next to them, and we're all performing. And in uh, in that form of animation, when you have all the actors there, you can actually relate to each other. Unfortunately, anime and dubbing, it's one person in a box. As a matter of fact, my my lady got me a T-shirt which says, "I'm a voice actor. I stand in a padded room talking to myself, and they pay me."
As Peter Cullen says, if you like the job, you don't have to work a day in your life.
Exactly. But
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
the sessions, oh, there were marathon sessions. Wally Burr was infamous for running long, and for the guys that were working on a whole lot of shows like Peter and Frank. And they'd say, okay, well, 4 hours on this show, then I'll go over and do this show with the next 4 hours. But we had sessions that went 8, 9, 10 hours for a 22-minute episode. That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Wally was extremely centered on what he wanted, and he was going to get it. And we kept going till he got it. And the end result is, as irritating as it may have been time-wise for the performers, this is how many years later, and people are still engaged in and wrapped up in and loving the spirit of those shows.
Mhm.
When I go to conventions, I always meet someone, and it's the standard line. You don't know what you meant to me when I was going through whatever it is I was going through.
Yeah.
Well, how many people in the world, to how many, is Peter Cullen their dad? Tens of thousands.
Sorry, grandpa.
Yeah, but that the spirit he portrayed was so approachable and so warm and so human
Yeah.
that today all he has to do is walk into a room and everyone goes, "I'm melting. It's my friend. It's
My
my
name is
dad. It's my
Optimus Prime.
grandpa."
My grandpas. I call them my surrogate grandpas
Ah,
because they're just like they treat me like as if I'm their granddaughter. And I'm like, oh, so cool.
ah.
I miss them so much, man. I heard they're due back next summer, so
Excellent. They're doing a lot more conventions these days and appearances, and I think that's wonderful. I just saw Frank in August
I was
at
just gonna say,
BotCon.
yeah,
Yeah,
you did BotCon,
and
didn't you?
yeah, and he's a hugger. I
I
mean,
know you read.
well, with guys, okay, it's like it's a manly embrace. But my lady was there, and she got a hug, and someone else came up, and they got a hug, and Frank is just one of the warmest, sweetest guys. So of course she's going to be the bad guy.
That reminds me, there's a video on my phone of me meeting Frank that I took, and I got to his table. I don't think you've heard this story. Yeah, the backstory. I got to his table,
Mm-hmm.
and he stood up. He stood up, right?
Yeah.
And he walked around his table, came to me, arms open. I'm like, oh my god! It's just I bear hugged him. I was like, oh my god, Frank, I love you. It was magical. And then he hugged me again. I was like, oh my god! So it was, oh man. I didn't want the day to end. It was like, ah man, I'm so glad I went for 2 days. And I know my folks are like, oh, you shouldn't. 2 days is too long. I'm like, it's not long when you're meeting Frank Welker. Well, it is long, and I want it to be long, of course.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was gonna ask, how was BotCon?
It was it was very interesting. It was a ton of fun because that was my first convention since the whole COVID thing started. My first chance to get out and see people again, and it was in Nashville, Tennessee, in August, which
Yep.
is a little warm and a little sticky.
Oh.
Oh. But this was sort of fortunately, the air conditioning worked well. It was a new hotel. It was so new, they didn't have the swimming pool or the bar open yet. So there were more than a few slightly disappointed attendees. I mean, it's really great to be able to break in a brand new swimming pool with a drink from the brand new bar.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the way some people get at cons, it's probably good that there was no pool available.
Yeah.
It could have been unsatisfactory.
Yeah.
But the con, it was sort of the rebirth of BotCon.
Yeah,
And
because they've been out of business for a few years.
and I got the chance to get close to the organizers, and we spent some time helping them and giving them ideas and helping them to do a little promotion, some things. I did some little, you can see them on YouTube, little announcements of tracks promoting BotCon coming up in 3 weeks, in 2 weeks, in 1 week.
Yeah.
And that was such an awful lot of fun. But the con was great, and seeing seeing the people, the attendees coming out, the fans, and it just got me right there in the heart place because it had been so darn long, and I'm I missed hanging with my peeps.
Yeah, of course. And I love the script reading you guys did, and just Frank surprised you at the end because his
Oh
panel was
yes.
next. I don't know why he doesn't do the script readings, but I think it's something to do with his agent. Like, he doesn't do panels with other Transformers things. He only does them either on his own or with Peter Cullen. I don't know why.
Mhm.
I think it's an agent thing, but he came in and he just hugged everybody. I was like, oh my gosh. And the organizer actually got Frank to send me a video message because someone asked him
Oh
about me, and he asked
my.
if I still had an accent. I was like, yeah. So he sent me a video. He was like, hey Amber, they tell me you have an English accent. Is that true? Scooby Dooby Doo. And then he's like, I'm like, oh my god. I
Oh,
was
that is
like,
so hot.
the way his name is, it says like Amber, like that. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
It's brilliant. Like, wow. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you had a good time then, in that case.
yeah,
Yeah. I
it
tell you
was.
what. No.
Yes. Nope.
I tell you
I'm
what.
just listening.
um, you're gonna have to come to TF Nation, the UK Transformer convention. We have a
Hmm.
BotCon, TFCon over here as well. It's called
Right. I think
TF Nation.
some years back. Oh
You
lordy,
might have done like
8 or
Auto
10 years.
Assembly.
Yeah, auto assembly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they changed the name. I don't know. I don't know, but it'd be lovely to see you over here again.
That
Yeah,
was my
like,
first time in Birmingham. I'd never been,
oh, what's it?
and
Oh, that's so cool.
yes, and of course we did get another day or two after, and I went out to Warwick Castle and laid siege to the place. So, and then came back and I missed my train. So
Oh no!
it
Oh dear.
was wonderful tourist stories like another bloody
Yeah,
Yankees lost the game. You know,
I bloody love the Yanks. I do. Like, it's
and
just so interesting to see an American person in England. 'Cause I saw one a few months ago, and I was like, "Do you guys have cartoons over there like we do here?" And they were like, "Yeah." It's so funny because, like, oh, you're just thinking. I speak to a lot of Americans online,
Mhm.
but I've never really met one of them in person. Just to see them in person, it's like seeing them on a computer screen. It's so, it feels so, it's it gives, it's a feeling that I can't describe. It's real.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, like if we met in person, like I know, like when me and Frank met in person, it was really just like seeing him, like standing face to face. I'm like, oh my god, you're an American. So that was quite fun.
Well, more to the point, you're Welker.
You're Welker. Well, people call him Dr.
You're
Franken Welker, apparently, so that's really cool.
Oh,
Um,
I would never do that.
ah,
Although there's let's go back. You were asking about some of the stories and things from uh, some of the sessions at
uh-huh,
Transformers.
that's right.
It was early in recording history in terms of
Hmm.
electronics.
Yeah.
No digital editing. So everything we did was going on those big old tape reels, and someone later was going to take a razor blade and tape them together to get the proper takes. So that's why we would redo so many of the takes to get what was proper and get the timing right and get this response so it fit with that one. And it was that was part of the time consuming part of it as well, was just the sheer tech. So there was a lot of downtime. And all of the voice actors were in the studio, the big, huge picture glass window, looking into the control room. And we're sort of left to our own devices because, we're not doing important things like turning knobs. So we're sitting there while they're trying to fix whatever has gone wrong. And it gets a little boring. So we're going, whatever.
Go,
Oh, okay.
go
I'm
sleep.
all right. I'm good. And one of these occasions, we're sitting there. There's a lull in the conversation. And tell me, when you get a lull in a conversation in a room full of actors, that's a rarity. But we hear a coin drop into a payphone. This is back when there were actual, payphones that you put coins in to make calls.
Mhm.
And we turned around, and there was Frank sitting on a stool in the back. And we heard the coin drop. We heard it hit the bottom.
Yeah.
We heard the dial turning as he was dialing numbers. And then he had a conversation with himself.
Oh my gosh.
All of this on a phone that wasn't there.
Wow, I'm gonna have to ask him next time he's here to do that. He just does it. He's like, "Oh, hello, it's Apple the Fangirl. Yes, it's Apple the Fangirl. We've got a new video coming out." Oh man, just thinking about that, it makes me excited. Yeah.
This is why Frank and Peter were personal, not just idols. I mean, I had them up on pedestals. They were my gods.
Yeah,
And
of course.
for me to be able to be there and trade words back and forth with them, what a gift! What a gift!
Yeah, of course.
And now here I am in my decade, and I'm having people get the same reaction to me, and it's what no, you don't understand. I'm just a young guy who's starting out. I just got a chance to meet my idols.
Yeah.
But that circle turns, and it is such a blessing. All right, I'm getting maudlin. Let's move on.
It's okay. So of course you didn't only just do the G1 series. You actually no, hang on. There is one thing I forgot to mention. I can't believe in fact, am I even thinking of the right no, that's the oh no, it is Make Tracks, that one episode where Tracks meets
yes,
Raul. Yeah,
Raul. Yeah,
Raul. Yeah. Okay. Who voiced Raul? I can't remember.
Mike Chain.
Oh, Mike Chain! I had my podcast as well, the two mics, because you were Cosmos and Tracks, and he was. Oh, who was he? He was.
I can't recall.
I mean,
who else
Hoist and Power Glide. I think it might have been Hoist and Power Glide. If I'm right, I am going to.
No, I don't think it was Hoist.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Hoist. Okay, that was
Hoist, Power Glide, and Red Alert.
Yeah, Hoist Goes to Hollywood was another one, and I sometimes conflate that with Make Tracks. No, I think Hoist Goes to Hollywood was a sequel then.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe first was Make Tracks, and then
I think
kind of got together with Raul and Hoist Goes to Hollywood, and it. Well, that was a few weeks ago, so forgive me if I get a little confused.
That's okay. That's okay.
But it was fun, and that episode really sticks with people. It was a chance to do some fabulous playing.
I'm having a look at it now. Yeah, I'm just looking at pictures of Tracks on the not the G1, sorry, the TF wiki, and it's just so interesting. Oh yeah, because Tracks was in Hoist Goes Hollywood because it's him and Sunstreaker wearing like alien masks. Yes, that would have been fun. Oh man, I'm just oh yeah, and because I think there was like they did public service announcements like they did with the G.I. Joe characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Cross Country ever do one of them?
Yeah, Cross Country did one. It was basically safety. Wear your helmet when you're riding a motorbike.
I think I remember that. I think I remember that. Oh my gosh. Right. Well, in that case, you're gonna make me find it on YouTube. Right. Oh wait. And also in Robots in Disguise, moving on to Robots in Disguise real quick. You voiced Ironhide in it and Hotshot.
Yes. Hotshot was by far the easiest for me because he was just a straight on hero, a spy changer, I think he was. By the time Ironhide showed up in that series, I was not able to do the proper voice, to give the proper voice to him, because someone else had already taken it for a different character, and they knew I couldn't give it the flavor that Peter had done for Ironhide. And so I have people say, well, how come you made him sound so different? Because someone else stole Peter's voice. I couldn't do it. But Hotshot was fun. And Ironhide was fun too. But mostly Ironhide was kind of support stuff. He didn't really get any good story things. Hotshot was, being heroic and everything, and that was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I found something. So the public information for I know they're called public service announcements (PSAs) in America, but in the UK we call them public information films (PIFs) over here. So I'll try and say PSA. it's really hard to remember. I found it, and it is Beachhead and Cross Country. I think this isn't. Is this motorcycle? I think it. Yeah, it is. It's Cross Country and Beachhead. Beachhead voiced by William Calloway. Do you remember working with Will?
Honestly, no.
I've been trying to find him. I can't find him. I've looked everywhere. I've been trying to find him for years, and I've just never found any leads.
Well, there's been a bit of flow under the bridge since then, and a lot of people have just moved on and retired. I don't know what that's about, but
you would want to retire.
Well, eventually, yes. I want to sit on the porch and watch the squirrels frolic in the trees.
That's a good one. Or how many pigeons are on next door's roof? That'd be a good one. Yeah, I do that sometimes.
Well, where I'm living now is sort of green and rural,
cool.
And that makes all the difference in the world. And I'm quite pleased to be out here in the hinterlands.
Wow. It's really cool. I'd like to show you a little something, Michael.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Okay. There we go. I think we're okay. We're okay just over here. Okay. How do we move that other way? That's fine. Okay. So, of course, I found the PSA that you did as Cross Country, also featuring Beachhead. Is that his name? Did I say Beachhead? Am I? Yeah, Beachhead.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Now you're gonna have to make me check.
Well, it'll say. I bet it will say in the.
It will say. Yeah, they say the kids said names. McConnohie, sorry.
Way to go! Follow me. Nice bike.
Thanks. Want a ride?
Sure. Got a helmet?
A helmet? What are you? Some kind of wimp?
No, I just.
Jonathan's just using common sense.
Beachhead. Cross country.
That was a close call. You all right?
Yeah. Thanks.
These ATVs have as much power as a real motorcycle. You got
to... Is that Beachhead?
That's Beachhead.
And wear helmets for protection.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
And when he joins in the crowd, everyone covers their ears because he goes, "Yo, Joe!"
Yes. Oh my gosh. Now I've got to be careful. I might not be able to I can't show you all of it at the moment, but when the actual interview comes out, I probably may have to cut it out because Hasbro can be really picky with what is featured in what videos. Like I could end up getting a claim from
understood.
Hasbro.
Did you notice in this one? I'm sorry, back on the PIF.
Yeah.
That the kid who fell down looked like he was 45 years old.
You're right. It's those wrinkles on his face. It's how a sunburn managed to animate it. It's kind of funny.
The animation was, I believe, done in Korea.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well, it wasn't sunburn. Sorry, it was like.
Send the voice tracks over, the performances over, and they'd animate
Toei animation, maybe.
Toei.
Yeah. Toei. TOEI.
Okay, Tomy was the Transformers.
The toy maker, Toei.
Hasbro and Tomy. Tomy.
Yeah, Toei is the Toei. Yeah, they did the animation, so they did Transformers. They did Spider-Man, His Amazing Friend, Muppet, all that, man. But yeah, anyways. I didn't expect it to zip all like that. So is that Cross Country, the one with the goggles?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm looking at the right. I'm listening out for the right. I thought he was gonna say shut up. Oh man.
Oh Lordy, that was Scatman, a whole bunch of other people. Yeah, that was good grief. That was I think that was Into Your Tent I Will Silently Creep. I haven't seen those since they aired originally. And actually I didn't see all of them either because I don't like watching my work. When I get it done, it's if it's successful, the fans will know. It's out of my hands at that point.
That was That was Lady J. Yeah, voiced by I believe Mary McDonald Lewis. I think.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I believe
Am I
so.
right? Am I
believe so.
wrong? Yeah. So, oof, yeah, because I was gonna say because there's a few. I know there's the Baroness voiced by Morgan Lofting, and there's a few others as well. I know B.J. Ward was in it, but I can't remember who she voiced. Who did she voice? Right, you're gonna have to make. I'm gonna have to look this up now.
Oh,
I've got no
there was
choice.
a cadre of females. Okay, B.J. Ward,
Scarlet. She voiced Scarlet.
Kath Soucie, Susan Blue, Morgan
Oh,
Lofting.
Susan Blue.
Oh, just a man. It was gravy days to be able to meet good-looking ladies who are also talented.
Yeah, I spoke to Susan Blue recently. Oh my god, she
Mhm.
was just so lovely. I was just telling her all about Scotland and stuff, and just you just think about it, and you just think, I wanna relive that moment. Just meeting Frank and Peter, it was just magical because I was just thinking of everyone who I'd spoken to since, just in my head, and just thinking, this is it. Just say, oh my god, everyone loves you. That was quite fun. So moving on from GI Joe, I know, like, didn't really talk. Well, we did talk about. I mean, I showed you the PIF. You've done a lot of other things as well. You have to give me a minute whilst I just. Sorry, but I feel like
No worries. If you go to imdb.com, you will have grist for years. A lot of
found
stuff.
my
You
notes.
live long enough, the credits, they just sort of continue accruing. It's like the best kind of compound interest.
Yeah, of course. Well, I've just
But
found my notes on the email.
mhm.
That I sent you. You did Dog Tanyan, Dog Tanyan, I think. Well,
Yeah, the
how do
return
you?
of Dog Tanyan.
Yeah, you were the
Yep,
narrator.
yeah, the original one was in 1985, I believe, and the return was done in 1990. And they changed the voice. The actor who was doing Dog Tanyan had been Cam Clark in the original, became David Mallow
Uh-huh.
in the return of, and I became the narrator in the return.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, Dog Tanyan and the Three Muskehounds was the first one. I think that was the one that aired in England. I think, and then yeah, I did that. Yeah. Yeah, and then of course you got the sequel and stuff. Oh yeah. Well, hang on. No, it says you were the narrator in the first one as well.
I was not. I think that was
That's
Tom Weiner,
oh,
the director.
that's well, I don't know. I don't know why it's said on there
Well,
because if you go through,
because people listen and they think they hear something and they say, "That's it."
it's
And then,
Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia where anyone can
and
edit it.
if they can't put it on the internet unless it's absolute fact and truth.
Yeah.
So it's like I mean, another thing, Vampire Hunter D. Okay. Everyone knows I was D, but for some reason they insist on thinking that the left hand was my friend Kirk Thornton. No, it was me. I was D and left hand. And say, well, you can't get your voice out. Well, I did.
I think it did there in England because it says one of the production companies is Thames Television, which is,
Mhm.
of course, British people know Thames Television were the network holders for ITV up until the early 90s. And it was like ITV London. It's hard to explain, but it was split up into different regions. Like Granada was
Right.
ITV from Manchester and the northwest of England. There was Anglia, Meridian, ITV Comedy Wales. Just all different ones, or ITV Wales and West is what it was called, or HTV. It's a massive rabbit hole, Michael. Enough about me explaining about television. You also did Power Rangers as well, which actually surprised me, considering
Yeah.
was this a voiceover role?
Well, there were many. I did what we call Monster of the Week. So I'd show up and I probably did 6 or 8 things. I wrote some of them. I can't recall exactly which ones. But I'm trying to think. For some reason, the one that comes more to mind in terms of performance was Motor Mantis, I think. Basically, a big bug riding around on a motorcycle. And
Yeah, I think I did recall
uh,
seeing something about that, so I might have been
yeah.
it. you know.
Yeah, Power Rangers was great because almost everybody was wearing helmets.
You
And
couldn't tell who was who.
couldn't tell what the lips were doing, so you could say pretty much anything that was needed, except
Yeah.
for Rita Repulsa. Yeah, she had her face hanging out there, and Lord Zed, and gosh, okay, that was Robert Axelrod as Zed, Barbara Goodson as Rita Repulsa. Oh, my brain cell just turned off for who Kerrigan played. Ah, ah.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to kick myself later.
Kerrigan. What do you say the name was? Sorry.
Kerrigan Mahan.
Kerrigan. Okay. Power
M-A-H-A-N.
Rangers.
Or as you say, M-A-H-A-N.
Goldar.
Goldar, yes, that's right. And just a few
Yay.
years back, he was doing some internet videos, Goldar and Me, where basically
Ah.
he's sitting at his home talking to Goldar, and the Goldar figure is there, and just hysterical pieces of work. They really are.
That's brilliant. Wow. Aw, that's so cool. Also this is another Sunbow thing that you did. Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light.
Oh, I love that. I was so sad when it didn't get picked up. It was, good heavens. The people in that cast were just fabulous. Neil Ross is always a stalwart.
My first
And
guess.
that one, we had Jonathan Harris, who was the professor from Lost in Space.
Uh-huh.
And we had
Bernard Erhard.
beg pardon?
You had Bernard Erhard.
Mm-hmm. And
Roscoe Lee Brown.
Roscoe. Oh my Lord, I beat him up. Roscoe Lee Brown. Oh gosh, I can't remember the scene where we're all lined up, and you know, there are like 8 of us in a row with the microphones there, standing in front of that big picture window.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch voice actors from the back as they're working, it is the most hysterical thing in the world to watch the gyrations and the posture changes and the gestures and all of that. And there was one where I was throwing something. And so, of course, I wound up and gave it a big throw. And I was right next to Roscoe Lee Brown, and I punched him right in the left kidney.
Oh, dear. That must have been painful. Oh,
he
man.
was very gracious about it.
Oh, well,
but I don't think he'd have been feeling good for a week or more. It was a solid hit, and I was just melting down into my shoes in utter shame and humiliation. But it was okay. Hal Rail and a bunch of others, but I had the 2 guys, Ektar and Lexor.
Yeah, that's right. And they were both on the the different sides, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah. All the regular cast, you had to do a good guy and a bad guy.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then pick up one guest role.
Yeah. I'm just because I'm looking now. Yeah. So Susan Blue, you, Hal Rail, Neil Ross, and Bo Weaver, I've all interviewed for my little podcast. Let's have a look. Jennifer Darling, I'd love to have her on, but I haven't been able to find a contact for her. Jim Cummings, I've already spoken to him for a previous project, and I also like to get him on as well. Peter Cullen, of course, I've just met him, so that was fun. You know, it's crazy, and you just think, you know, all these people, and like you look at this big credit list, and then you're just thinking, you know, most of these people, you've done that. And like it says it was narrated by Malachi Throne. Beg my pardon if I pronounced his name incorrectly. Malachi.
Oh, Malachi Throne.
Malachi! Oh my god, I feel so
Malachi,
bad now.
yeah. Yes. Oh yeah.
Malachi.
Malachi, it's fine. You know, wait, wasn't he that guy who played the piano? No, that was Liberace. No, I make a joke. Sorry. No, Malachi Throne. He'd been a solid character actor for years and years, and such gravitas and really, really a solid profundity to him that was never pushed, but just sort of got right in there with what needed to be done and the feeling of what was going on. Very good narrator. As I recall, he was excellent at adding just a little tiny bit of flavor to the omniscient observer to get you into the story. Really nice.
Yeah. I feel really bad for pronouncing his name. I wasn't anywhere close. Oh yeah, it's Malachi. 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 I'm so sorry, Michael.
I will admit I was thrown a little bit, but then I got there.
Sorry.
And we all got together, so it's fine.
Yeah, of course. I've always wondered this because I've noticed that you've done a lot of anime. Like, you've done a few Western animated shows, but like you've mainly done anime. How come? Is there a reason for that? Is it because like maybe like I don't know, because I know a lot of people who tend to live in like the middle of America or on the East Coast, they tend to do more anime. Maybe I don't know. What how come you've done more anime then?
Because the work was available. We don't get to say, I'm going out and I'm going to do a show now. The audition process, there is a very great deal of who you know, insofar as people who have worked with you before will bring you back again. Also, I had been involved in other things. I was doing live shows. I was in, I've done 2 shows at Universal Studios Hollywood, one as Dracula, one as the evil sorcerer in the Conan Sword and Sorcery Spectacular, which also involved me doing an 18-foot high fall after getting a sword through the neck.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Did you have a crash pad underneath?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
And it made me very happy too, because the stage is made of concrete and it had a layer of 1.5 inches of rubber padding on it, but yeah, no, it's not good. You go down 1.5 inches and then you stop because there's concrete.
Yeah.
Done a lot of that. I was working at radio for a number of years. In the latter years, in the 90s and early 2000s, I was actually traveling for DreamWorks, supervising foreign versions of their films as they were being dubbed into the local language. And I got to see a whole lot of places that I'd like to go back and see as a civilian again. But pretty much one little studio smells and looks a whole lot like another little studio. But I did see a lot of things out the taxi window that I wanted to go back and see again. So it's, if you're going to be an actor and you're going to support yourself, unless you are fortunate enough to be struck by the really big lightning, you better have a day job as well.
Yeah, I mean, same with, well, YouTube is pretty much my job because I'm unemployed. Sorry. I earn money from YouTube, so it's pretty much what's keeping me going at the moment. Like, I'm trying to find a job, I'm trying to find, it's pretty much like trying to find the right one for me.
Yes. Amber, you're between engagements.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's a lovely way to put it.
Yes.
Of course.
And when you find the one that's right, you will gravitate, you will stick, and you will make the position yours.
Wow. Yeah, that's so cool. Wow. I've got to ask. I think this will probably be my final little question, if that's okay. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Well, we could do a part 2 at some point. I don't mind. I'd love to do a part 2 with you.
Surely.
When I'm feeling, a bit more 100%, if that's okay. Yeah.
Understood. And yes, of course.
Thank you.
What is this putative final question?
Okay, it is. So, of course, you did the G1 series of Transformers, and then you did Robots in Disguise. How did you manage to get involved in that? Because I know they use a lot of anime voice actors for that. And how did you manage to, go from working with LA voice actors to working with people, who weren't based in LA? They were more anime. You know what I mean?
No, there are several anime dubbing centers. The biggest is Funimation in Texas.
Oh yeah.
And they have got an incredible setup. It is literally an anime factory. They have, I believe, and someone is going to get me on this, I'm sure. I believe it's between 10 and 16 sound stages. They can do an entire series in 2 weeks because actors just go from stage to stage depending on what the show is, and the stages are running all day long. I
Ah,
mean, most studios will work 1 or 2 stages,
yeah.
but they do a tremendous job of promoting their product. Because they have this mass quantity production, they do a good job of pricing themselves right in the market for the rights holders. So Funimation it has been a force to be reckoned with for a long, long time. Some of the people who started there have moved to L.A.
Hmm.
Some have moved to New York. Some people from New York, we jump around like fleas.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really cool, you know.
But
I know.
as far as the LA group was concerned, we became a very strong community, a lot of emotional entanglement in the very best possible way. Good friends. I have so many good friends now as part of that community. And it every once in a while, we don't get together much, geography being what it is, but we still talk and we still do. And now that everyone's got a computer and we have this thing called the internet, everybody can work on everything everywhere.
That's really cool. Wow. What a lovely way to round off this interview, Michael.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you so much for talking to me this evening. And thank you for being a nice little distraction. Well, not a distraction, but just thank you for being with me tonight.
It is my very great pleasure, and I'm honored that you that I'm able to do something for you. So, take a nice, big, warm, golden thought and put it right close to your heart and hold it there. And we will get together again.
Yeah, of course you will. Michael, before you go, I'd like to ask you, where can we find you on the internet? Do you have a website? Do you have anything you'd like to promote or anything? I don't know why I'm whispering at the moment. I just think it's nice and peaceful, I suppose. And I also forgot to say, I love your voice. I love your voice. It's so calming. It's
Thank you. It is
like the silk.
the facile answer is it's bad sinuses. Uh, but the trick is just to learn what they do and then work with them. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes, the michaelmcconnahie.com.
Uh-huh.
That's my website. And yes, it is out of date. It is woefully out of date. It is heinously, incredibly, disgustingly out of date. I had good plans for it when I started it 15 years ago, but life gets in the way. It's very much what John Lennon said, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. And a whole lot of life has happened. I never finished my website, but it's a work in progress, as we all are.
Yeah,
I do
of
have
course.
some conventions coming up. I've got, they'll be on the website. One in Akron, Ohio, at the University of Akron in February, I think February 11th. It's one of the biggest anime club sponsored cons in the country. It's big. Thousands will be coming there. Then next June, I believe there will be a Joe Fest, a G.I. Joe collectors oriented
Oh,
convention in Augusta, Georgia. So there's a lot of stuff coming up, and more is opening up now that the conventions are blossoming again.
yeah, you seem like you're really busy. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm still going to find some time to sit on the porch and watch the squirrels.
Me
Actually,
too.
I want to teach them tricks.
Yeah, I've never interacted with a squirrel before up until a few months ago. One came up to me in a park, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, hello!" I held up
Yeah.
my hand, and it actually like touched my hand, and then walked off. I was like, "Oh my god, I feel like a Disney princess talking to animals."
You didn't
Brilliant.
have any food in the hand?
I didn't have anything on me. I don't think squirrels like human food that we eat, like chocolate crisps or chips. And I don't know.
Oh, they're
Oh, gosh.
omnivores. They're
I feel
omnivores.
so
They will
bad.
eat pretty much. Don't feel bad. Just next time,
I was
have a
gonna
little
pack of
something in
nuts.
your pocket. Yes,
Yeah.
popcorn.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Now you're making me plan out my next trip to the park. It's like a little action plan I'll do. Oh, that's so cool. Well, Michael, it's been a pleasure talking to you and to you at home.
It has
Thank
been
you.
a very great pleasure to me, and I thank you so much for spending the time with me. And I will be at your beck and call when next we get together.
Remember, outro. Don't leave when I do the clapboard. Okay. Okay. Stay where
Okay.
you are. Stay where you are. Thank you for watching this interview with the lovely Michael McConnohie. Stay safe. Be kind to yourself and to others, especially yourself. Deserve it. Give yourself a break every once in a while. Take care, everybody. Bye. And
And we're wrapped.
yes, I thought you were going to say bye bye. So I was like, I didn't do it because I thought you had to say.